Some difficulty settings can be pretty tough, others mean you don't so much beat the game as you do survive it. A few, however, amp up the challenge so high that conquering them seems virtually impossible. Here are a few of the hardest hard modes of all time. Put in the ground. The Last of Us is tough enough on its own. The game's grounded mode, however, is so much worse. On this setting, ammo and health is harder to come by, and the damage you take from enemies has ramped up. Worse still, the clickers are able to hear better than ever, and can sense your presence in almost every scenario, and once they find you, you're mincemeat. Just to make things even more of a nightmare, grounded mode also removes your heads-up display, meaning you can no longer keep track of your remaining health and ammo levels. All in all, it's about as realistic as a game about fungus zombies can possibly get. Ethan must die. Mercifully, Resident Evil 7's Ethan Must Die mode only extends to a certain portion of the main game. Here's your primary problem. You start out with just your knife. Guns and ammunition can only be found in randomly generated boxes scattered throughout the game. If you die, you'll lose everything but one item of your choice. But that's not all. Some of those boxes are booby-trapped too, and will kill you if you make the mistake of wandering too close. Luckily, the traps aren't randomized, meaning you can at least remember where they are for your next go-round. Not that this makes this mode much less evil than it already is. Your darkest hour. Dark Souls could make a decent claim to being the hardest game ever made. Its New Game Plus, however, somehow makes the whole experience even more brutal. Every enemy practically triples in strength. The first boss, for example, has its hit points increased from 813 to 2,195. If you make it to the end, you'll unlock New Game Plus 2, where things get even worse. But we're not here for that. We're here for New Game Plus 6, where even the most minor foes are as tough to beat as normal mode's late-game bosses. And the bosses themselves, well, that just doesn't bear thinking about. Throw in the ease by which you can lose embers, keys, bonfire items, and other important equipment, and you've got a recipe for disaster. Punishing Wario. Super Mario games aren't exactly known for their punishing difficulty modes, but Wario Land 4 shook things up with one of the franchise's toughest ever. In the game's S-Hard mode, Wario's health points are decreased from 8 to 1, meaning one hit from anything will cost you a life. You're also given far less time to complete each course than before, while items tend to cost far more. Even the mini-games become more difficult, but what else would you expect from Wario? Old Snake becomes Dead Snake. Fittingly, for a difficulty mode named after one of Metal Gear's greatest soldiers, the Boss Extreme makes it nigh on impossible to beat Metal Gear Solid 4. Enemies become entirely capable of ending Snake's life in just a couple of shots. Your weapons carry far less ammunition, and you're only allowed 2 health rations at any one time. Sneaking through the game won't help either. Enemy soldiers have their awareness levels amped up in the Boss Extreme mode, meaning they can see you from further away, hear you with greater ease, and wake up sooner after being knocked out. It may be punishing, but you can't say the boss wouldn't be proud. Killzone becomes a death zone. The Killzone series Elite mode has all the markings of a classic high difficulty setting. You take extra damage, the enemy takes less, and the AI is ramped up to make everybody that little bit smarter. Just to make things worse, however, your crosshairs are also removed from the screen, leaving you to aim with nothing but your best judgment. 2013's Killzone Shadowfall made things even tougher with the addition of a limited life system. In that game, you only have 3 chances to beat the game on Elite mode, and if you blow them all, you'll have to start again from the beginning. A living nightmare. Doom's Nightmare mode is no walk in the park. While you yourself take more damage and extra health becomes much more difficult to get hold of. Ultra Nightmare mode, however, is literally on another level. It's basically Nightmare mode, but with one major addition: permadeath. Yes, if you die in Ultra Nightmare even once, you start the whole game again from the beginning. And if you find yourself unable to beat Ultra Nightmare mode, don't feel bad, the people who designed it can't either. According to IGN, as of April 2016, nobody at id Software had even come close to conquering the game's hardest difficulty. Some gamers have managed it since, but don't expect to be joining their ranks anytime soon. It's an elite club.